Hello and welcome to Wesley Impact. I'm thrilled to be with you as the new CEO and Superintendent of Wesley Mission. I'm looking forward to spending this time together each week and also connecting with you online and through all we do in our congregations and our community services. I began in this role in January this year, having served in ministry in 4 states, South Australia, Tasmania, Queensland, and now New South Wales. I've been a part of the Uniting Church in Australia since it began, and have been serving as a minister since I was ordained in 2004. My wife Sue and I, along with our very spoiled dog Splash, made the move from southeast Queensland, where we led New Life Church on the Gold Coast and in Brisbane for 15 years, and are really enjoying our new city in Sydney. The past 30 years in ministry have been a great preparation for my appointment here at Wesley Mission. Coming to this role, I was struck by the enormity of our work and all that we do. So I made it a priority to visit our staff across New South Wales, to meet them firsthand and to listen to what are the priorities in their community. And their voices are directly shaping the direction of our work over the next 2 years and beyond. Over the next 14 days, it's my privilege to travel all over New South Wales, stopping at 9 locations, meeting our staff and beginning to develop together our vision for the next 2 years. Our first stop was in Newcastle, where I met some of our team for the very first time. This is workshop number 1 of 9 over the next 2 weeks. I'm going to all 9 of these because we need to hear from you. And so thank you so much for investing not just your time, but your energy, your passion for what we do, for Wesley Mission and our vision, our mission to do all the good we can because every life matters. Before starting this trip, I was really looking forward to meeting our staff, hearing from them and inviting contributions to our planning that will influence our work over the next 2 years. Over the last 3 months, Sue and I have visited a lot of our sites, but not all of them. There's over 100 of Wesley Mission sites across New South Wales and then beyond our borders. But there are a few things that I have seen, and this is repeated again and again and again and again, is the passion you have for your work and for the people that we serve. At our workshops, I encourage staff to share their thoughts on areas of improvement across Wesley Mission in relation to extending our impact, energising our communities, and building a healthier organisation. Every number has a name. I mean, I'm a recovering accountant, not just an accountant. I'm a recovering accountant. Every number has a name, every name has a story, and every story matters to God. And I passionately believe that. Every story matters. While sharing some food and time to have some conversation, I got to know some of our staff and hear their amazing stories.
Excited to come and to see what we can, contribute into our ideas and make it into realities for the next 2 years.
It was phenomenal to have leadership in the room. That's not a process I've been part of in Wesley previously.
I suppose it's good for all of us just to feel a part of something greater and just to have our say, meet other people within Wesley and have some good conversations.
On the same day, we made the drive from Newcastle to Gosford and spent some valuable time with our staff on the central coast of New South Wales. And this is workshop number 2. We're in the Hunter this morning for number 1 of 9 over the next fortnight, and I'll be at all of those. Your input is critical to this whole process. If I could summarise my role description, and I have 2 of them, one as CEO, one as Superintendent, in one sentence, my role is to serve you as you serve others.
Being able to see Stu as a person, not just as a CEO, superintendent, being connected with him on a personal level and being inspired by his passion, his motivation has been a really good takeaway.
His vision is so amazing, the way he spoke about the future, what he wants to see for us and support us in doing all the good we can.
Tracy, who is a ball of energy, is our head of change and helped to facilitate the workshops and get the best out of our teams across the state.
There were 3 very strong themes that came through with people's feedback. The first was around extending our impact, The second was around energising our communities, and the third was around building a healthier organisation.
I like the direction of strategic planning. I think it helps with operational purposes, developing plans, but also advocating for clients and our communities that we work with.
What I'm feeling from everybody in the room is a lot of ideas and a lot of excitement around putting those ideas forward and hoping for a better future for planning for the next coming year.
I'm excited to plan for the future of Wesley. You know, it's a role that I've been in for about 18 months, and I'm keen to continue to stay in this role and to actually be asked how it will look moving forward. Yeah, it's exciting.
Seeing our staff and our team empowered to share their thoughts and contribute to the direction of Wesley Mission was one of the most rewarding things after day one. On the second day, we made our way to Blacktown in Western Sydney, just a stone's throw from our head office, where we serve people in one of the fastest growing regions in Australia. This was our largest workshop, and our team came from far and wide just to be a part of it.
I don't need to tell you, you experience it day in, day out, but sometimes the work you do is really, really hard. There's setbacks, there are funding disappointments. I mean, the last year, all of us have experienced the challenges of COVID and the complexity, the difficulties that has overlaid on what is already challenging roles that we fill.
After the first few workshops, I was impressed with the unity that exists at Wesley Mission across our various locations in New South Wales. I saw this firsthand in the workshops and celebrated this with our teams.
Passion, commitment, resilience, innovation, and then collaboration. You know, we have more than 60 different services, 140 different locations, 2,500 staff. I reckon in 10 years' time, I'll be tripping over services I didn't know we were doing. It's a big, diverse organisation. And one of the things that I'm hopeful in my time here at Wesley Mission is that as strong as our collaboration is now, that it will be even stronger still in the years ahead. That we recognise that what we can do together is better than what we can do on our own.
The passion that everybody shares, that working in Wesley Mission, that doing all the good that we can for all our clients that we support, it's good to have that same energy across the room.
I feel connected to senior managers. I feel like our voice is being heard and we have input in the business, which is amazing.
I really appreciated the honesty and openness in the feedback received from all of our staff. The team in Western Sydney added so much to the conversation, focusing on the importance of diversity and inclusion in our services and amongst the people we serve.
The most important thing that I'll do today is to say thank you. Thank you for what you do. Thank you for your commitment, your passion, your resilience, your innovation, your collaboration, and everything beyond that makes Wesley Mission who we are today.
At these workshops, I also had the opportunity to share important information about various aspects of Wesley Mission with our big, diverse, wonderful team.
The current strategic plan, boiling it down, the two key things that came out of that strategic plan was to see Wesley Mission grow over that 5-year period by 50% in terms of revenue, top line revenue, and by 50% in terms of the people we assist in need. Even in a COVID impacted sort of 5-year period, likely that our revenue growth will be around 40-41%. So it's not quite at the 50%, but 41%, which is profoundly significant. We've grown a lot, and similar sort of numbers in terms of those that we've helped, but that we serve now who are most in need.
One of the things that Stu mentioned was increasing advocacy with clients, and I think that's something really important. It's in the spirit of Wesley Mission throughout our history, and I think it's something that we do really, really well. I know my team does it really well, and yeah, I think if we can do that on a bigger level, that'd be great.
Yeah, I'm really excited to be here today for the planning process and just to see what everyone's ideas are as well. I'm someone that kind of builds off what other people say as well, and then that allows me to think of what other areas we can extend on and things like that. But yeah, it's just really cool that our new CEO has taken the time out of his busy schedule to meet all the staff, and he seems really passionate about making positive changes.
It was such a privilege to spend time with members of the Wesley Mission team across New South Wales. I got so much out of the first week. After Newcastle, Gosford, Blacktown and Wollongong, as a Southeast Queensland boy for 15 years, I couldn't wait to get up to northern New South Wales and then make our way back down to Sydney.
If you would like to learn more about Wesley Mission, visit wesleymission.org.au. You can find help in our community services, connect with our church and congregations, discover a volunteer role that suits you, stay up to date on the latest news and information, donate to support our work, and help make a positive difference in your community. You can also connect with us on social media and subscribe to receive the latest news and information about Wesley Mission directly into your inbox. Visit wesleymission.org.au.
We will meet more of the Wesley Mission team next week in the second part of my travels when I fly up to northern New South Wales and make my way back to Sydney. Earlier this year, I had the privilege of speaking with Danny and Layla Abdullah as part of our Easter Sunrise program. Danny and Layla tragically lost 3 of their 6 children when they were hit by a drunk driver as they were walking to the local shops to buy ice cream. This tragedy is unimaginable for many parents, most parents. All parents. But Danny and Layla have lived through the experience and through their faith have come to a point of forgiveness. They've forgiven the driver and established I Forgive Day, which will be on the 1st of February each year. This is the first of a 3-part interview that we'll share over the coming weeks. On the 1st of February 2020, Danny and Layla Abdullah received the news no parent would ever want to receive. 3 of their children, as well as their niece, had been hit by a car and lost their lives. This tragic event would change their family forever. As Danny and Layla continued to deal with their grief and loss, they also continued to love and nurture their remaining 3 children. We're honoured to have Danny and Layla with us today. Thank you so much for joining us. Danny, tell us how you felt, how you responded when you heard that your 3 kids would not be coming home.
When I first saw the kids and I knew that they were gone, I didn't have time to think about myself as a father and a husband. All I did was think about Layla, Liana, Alex and Michael. Getting them to the hospital, I thought I'll think about that later. And I was just too busy trying to make sure that they were okay.
And Layla, take us back to that moment, those moments. What was that like for you?
I was shocked. I didn't think that will happen to our kids. I started praying and it was hard moments.
Tell us about the emotions you went through on that day and the days that followed.
I think when I got there, I think it was the first thing I felt was shock. And it's such a difficult time. You know, you see Bridget's daughter, my cousin Bridget's daughter, and your 4 kids. I think the first thing I said to myself is, who do I go to? Because there was a guilt of, if you go to this child, what about the other? And then once I realized what was happening, I felt in my heart, I surrendered it all to God. I didn't resist what was going on. I said, Lord God, this is bigger than me. This is greater than me. I surrender this to you. And just turned around and started focusing on Layla, Liana, trying to get them to the hospital, getting back to the hospital. And yeah, it was one of those experiences I'll never forget till the day I die.
Now you have 3 beautiful surviving children, Liana, Alex and Michael. How are they doing?
They're doing okay. Liana's beautiful, gorgeous girl. She's my inspiration. She gives me purpose every day, getting up in the morning, because she's really taken it upon herself. And she said when the accident occurred, she said, Dad, I don't want no one to pity me. I want to move forward. Really brave, she's courageous. So she's going awesome. And Alex, he's such a smart boy, like he's beyond his years and he's doing excellent. He's enjoying his schooling and he's loving sport. Michael, he's starting to come to his own now, become a bit more independent. He started kindergarten. He's got his friends, and they've got a well-balanced love. And I think after the grief that we've experienced, we only got one job to do now, is to make sure our kids feel that they're loved unconditionally. So we've got to keep their love tanks full as well.
I love that phrase, keeping their love tanks full. I think it's such a powerful, powerful image. And the last 12 months have been such an emotional roller coaster for you. It's a little over 12 months since that terrible day. How have you been coping? What has been sustaining you in this season of grief and loss and recovery?
Our faith is what keeping us going through. Our belief in resurrection, our hope in Jesus Christ is the thing that it's the only thing that is keeping us going. We're focusing on our kids, Liana, Alex and Michael. We're focusing on our well-being. We go to church and we focus on our foundation, our Forgive, to keep the message of forgiveness alive and to get more people to forgive and to keep in honor of our kids and to keep their legacy alive.
I can't even begin to imagine the sense of loss or the loss that you have experienced. Layla, you're wearing a badge today, memorialising your beautiful children. Tell us about the loss, the sense of loss that you carry with you.
We've lost a lot. Even the whole tragedy for us, losing our kids felt like a Good Friday to us, and the funeral felt like the resurrection for us. In the midst of losing our kids on this earth, we still have the peace of knowing our kids are in heaven, where we all aim to be. So our loss is great on this earth, but I look at it as a big gain in the next life, in the eternal life and in heaven.
Soon after the terrible tragedy, you stunned the nation, both of you, when you very publicly announced that you forgave the driver of the car that struck and took the life of your children. And it begs the question, why? Why forgive? And I think there are many people across our nation would love to hear your answer to that question. Why forgive?
Can I add to Danny? A lot of people struggles with the concept of forgiveness. They think, why do you forgive him? How do you forgive him? What is forgiveness? So Danny and I are trying to get some deep understanding of forgiveness. And we'd like people to understand that when you forgive someone, you forgive them because they are not aware of what they are doing. If that driver was aware, he wouldn't do what he did. So forgiveness, there's a lot of power and strength in it. It's a brave act of the forgiver. It's more for the forgiver
than the forgiven.
We'll see the next part of that conversation next week and hear how important the journey to forgiveness has been, still is, to Danny, Layla and the Abdallah family. A take home for me from today was Danny's reference to making sure the love tanks of his remaining children stay full and that they know that they are loved unconditionally, and the assurance Danny and Layla have that all their children are safe with God.
I think people are amazing. We can turn dark to light. We can fly through storms. We can change worlds, but we can't always do it alone. If you need help, we could work together. Find out more at wesleymission.org.au. We are here for you.
Wesley Mission lives out a practical word and deed mission. And each week our congregations gather in a number of celebrations across Sydney. And you're always welcome to join us in person or online. I realise, however, that not everyone can make it to church or may not feel comfortable in a church setting. So I've decided to share a small part of our celebrations with you here on the show. In my first sermon as CEO and Superintendent of Wesley Mission, I shared my vision for our work. This is the first of a 6-part series. We Australians, we love to shorten our words, or should I say we Aussies. So if I was to say to you that this Arvo, I'm on my way to uni, and on the way I'm going to stop off at the servo for some petrol, I might go to Macca's for a burger, or I might go to the Bolo for a schnitty and chips, you would know exactly what I'm talking about, wouldn't you? You would know exactly what I am talking about. And so it was November last year, the second week in the transition that I was experiencing into this role. I attended my first senior staff meeting, and my predecessor, Keith Garner, gave me the opportunity to be able to just get up and share for a few minutes a little bit about myself. And I can't remember exactly what I said, but just for a few minutes I introduced myself, I got down, felt pretty good about it. And then the next week I had a follow-up conversation with our COO, our Chief Operating Officer, Chris England. And he said, "You referred to us as Wesley." I said, "Yeah. We're Wesley Mission. Not Wesley, we are Wesley Mission." I learned a little bit about our name that day, and I learned a little bit about Chris's personality as well. But he was right. It's actually really, really, really important. We're not simply Wesley. We're not the Sydney Central Methodist Mission, which is what we were when we started in 1884. We are Wesley Mission. Embedded in our name is our purpose. We are a mission-driven, purpose-obsessed organisation. And right back at the beginning in 1884, as I said, we were known as the Sydney Central Methodist Mission. The first three words have disappeared, but the last remains. It's the one word that's remained with us since 1884. It matters because that's who we are. See, mission is our fuel and our fire. And for most of you in the room who are joining us online, who are watching afterwards, you would know that our mission is to continue the work of Jesus Christ in word and deed. You know, our mission didn't originate with us. It's completely unoriginal, and yet it's uniquely powerful. It's completely unoriginal, but it's uniquely powerful. Jesus initiated it with his life, his death, and his resurrection. And here's the good news for you and I. He invites us now to participate in it. We join with him in his ongoing mission in the world. You see, it's not so much that we're on a mission from God. We're on a mission with God. Every staff member, every volunteer, every church member, whether we have Christian faith or not, we're all joined together in this journey, in this mission of continuing the work of Jesus Christ in word and deed. Which begs the question, what is this mission? And there are various texts we could have looked at today to articulate that, but I couldn't think of anything better than what I would call Jesus' Nazareth declaration. And he comes at the beginning of his ministry in Luke's gospel. He goes to his hometown synagogue. All the eyes would have been upon him. He goes into the synagogue. He picks up the scroll of the prophet Isaiah and he begins to read. Not just any words, but the prophetic words of Isaiah about the coming Messiah. He reads those words and he sits down and he says, today, these words have been fulfilled in your hearing, effectively saying, the one you've been waiting for centuries, I am he. Here I am. And he declares, my mission is good news for the poor, freedom for prisoners, recovery of sight for the blind, liberation for the oppressed, God's favor for all. And all I can say, if that's the mission we've been invited to participate in, sign me up. Sign me up. What else would I like to give my life to? See, his mission is our invitation. And he invites us now, Jesus invites us now to extend his mission of good news for the poor, freedom for prisoners, recovery of sight for the blind, liberation for the oppressed, and God's favor for all. You know, over the last 3 months, Sue and I have had the privilege and the joy, the delight of worshipping with most of our 11 congregations. And we've visited services in Carlingford, Ashfield, Lewisham, Cogra, Sylvania, Tuggerah, Newcastle, Ryde, Penrith, Gosford, Maitland, Bankstown, Dundas, Liverpool, Penrith, Bella Vista, and of course, Pitt Street. It's been a lesson in New South Wales geography, I have to say. And the common thread across that diversity, not just geographically, but in terms of the services we provide, the congregations that we have,
the common thread that we have seen, heard, and experienced again and again and again is the passion we hear and the alignment we see around our vision to continue the work of Jesus Christ in word and deed. To do all the good we can, because every single life matters.
Join me next week when I'll dig a little deeper into the idea of being people with soft hearts, sharp minds, hard feet, and open hands. I hope you can join me then, and I hope you've enjoyed the program today. I'm so looking forward to spending this time with you each week, getting to know you and also connecting with you online. If Wesley Mission can be of help to you or a loved one in any way, please don't hesitate to be in touch. Our website's on screen now, and you can also find us on social media. See you next week. Every blessing to you and to those who you love.